What up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Knowledgeable Soul. So this week, basically, we're going to kick off the new year by doing a little bit of 2020 reflection. It's always good to look back and reflect, look at the pros and the cons of the past and lessons to learn and how to move forward. So basically, just going to go through the highlights of my year this year, and just enjoy, all right? So basically, to start off the year, we started out 2020 with a bang, you feel me? Actually started out 2020 at church. Spent my few hours before the new year and new year at church. I think I've probably gone to maybe 4 or 5 watch night services over my years of life that I can really remember. But yeah, I was in Greenville with my girlfriend and everything, so just being able to bring in New Year's in the church, really just kind of like, kind of trying to set my trajectory for 2020. So that's really what I did. I mean, I just tried to set myself up for, the blessing in 2020. So, the week after, went back to work and everything. And then a couple weeks later, had my first little thing that I really was really looking forward to, which was starting my new podcast. If you have not listened to my podcast, it's not that many episodes, but started this year. Took that first step out, into really being creative and stepping into what I actually like. I like being creative. I like just doing things with my mind and talking a lot. So just being able to really do that and just not really be, constrained to, different things was really beneficial for me this year. Taking that first step was really the most important thing for 2020. So yeah, I did a couple, podcast episodes at the beginning of the year, and then like the last week in January, I did a couple podcast episodes to begin out the year, mainly in January, February, and then I did one later on in the year. But yeah, went to Honda, Battle of the Bands. A great experience. Great to be around my brothers and sisters in KKSI and TBS. Really just a nice way to really just, another way to start out the year together, really build, in a community. You feel me? But yeah, just, trying to live our best lives, really. And so the first real big thing of the year in 2020 was Kobe Bryant's death, right? So my story about how I found out was I was in the airport getting ready to fly back to Raleigh, and we're sitting across how you sit and wait for your plane or whatever. We're sitting across from this older white lady. She's reading a nice little book, reading a newspaper, whatever. And just being chill. So it was like, all right, cool. I'm sitting right here, whatever. And she looks at her phone and she's like, oh my gosh. She looks up, she looks at me, looks at my girlfriend, and I'm like, all right, cool. So something with black people maybe. I don't know. And then so I get on Twitter, I'm scrolling, let's do a little scroll. And all of a sudden, I see, R.I.P. Kobe. I'm like, well, y'all, people always doing this dumb stuff, talking about somebody died, whatever, yada, yada, yada. I was like, man, that's getting old, bro. It wasn't fake, though. The first story that I saw, it said an airplane. I was like, bro, I better get on an airplane. I don't ride on airplanes often. This ain't the day to really be talking about airplanes crashing. You feel me? But yeah, apparently, we all know the story. Kobe Bryant passed away this year in a helicopter accident. Rest in peace to not only Kobe and Gigi, but also the other passengers and the pilot of the helicopter that day who also passed away. I don't feel like those people really got that much recognition, which, I mean, they didn't have as much in-life recognition, so I guess I can understand the posthumous side, but, still, those were human lives, contributors to society. And so I just want to wish my condolences to them and their families as well. And then, we moved out of January, went into February, and I was like, all right, coronavirus is over there on the West Coast, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. And then, so nobody really was really paying attention to it, especially in North Carolina. Like, it wasn't really that big of a thing. And so, the weekend of Valentine's Day, I'm like, I'm going to this Earth Gang concert, and I'm doing a meet and greet. I don't care. Like, it is what it is. So, nobody really was like, there was no, at that time, there was no such thing as wearing a mask. There was no such thing as 6 feet. Like, really washing our hands, like, yeah, we washed our hands, but it wasn't something that we were, like, just constantly thinking of. So, went to the concert, did the meet and greet before the concert, got to take a picture. It is what it is. It was fun. Nice concert. Girl peed on the floor in the concert. Got kicked out, thankfully, because the bouncers really won't try to kick her out. But we finally, made a big enough uproar to where she got kicked out. And then later on that week, went to my first comedy show ever. Got to see Kev on stage and to hear More perform live. And that was a great experience. And I can't forget Tim Shropshire. He also was in that lineup. He did amazingly well. He was like a 10-minute set. It was a great 10. Okay, it was a great 10. So yeah, that was great. Got to meet Kev on stage and to hear More. Those were great people to get to meet this year. Really enjoyed it. I even was on Kev on stage's Instagram story. And then after that, it was like, all right, cool. February coming to an end. March is my birthday. You feel me? So, I'm about to turn 23. About to be, become even more of an adult, getting into my mid-20s. I was like, okay, so, like, what can I really do to really, like, make this great? So I'm thinking, so my girlfriend's like, I'm going to take you out to eat. I'm like, all right, cool. And in my mind, when she said, I'm going to take you out of town to go eat, I was like, okay, the only place I really would want to eat that's not in Greenville, but that's close to Greenville is Bahama Breeze. Because I only was able to go, like, twice. I bet, I would love to go to Raleigh to go eat somewhere. She hadn't told me that it was Bahama Breeze, but come to find out it was. But then on one lucky day on Friday, Governor Cooper was like, all right, y'all, guess what? Stay inside. So, everything basically shut down. And so we couldn't go to Raleigh, but my girlfriend did make plans here in Greenville, which were amazing. Thank you for my birthday. And so, yeah, that was great. And then April came, Easter. I was like, all right, cool. This coronavirus is really ramping up, like that. Those 3 weeks or whatever they were saying at the beginning, it's going to be longer than that. I might as well go ahead and go see my family now before it gets really bad. And since it affects the elderly a little bit worse, go see my grandparents, great-grandmother, and, just kind of see them over Easter. And I've stayed away, basically the whole year until Thanksgiving, which is not really, normally I like to go back, in the summer, or at least once in the summer, and then once right before school starts, roughly, kind of like that. You feel me? But, yeah, didn't go back at all until Thanksgiving, really. Yeah, it was Thanksgiving. So, in terms of what I did in May, basically, between the day that the shutdown started, which is basically March 16th, most places, I'm pretty sure that's the day it was in North Carolina too, March 16th through, like, now, basically, I've been in grad school. So, that's one of the biggest highlights of my year this year is really believing in myself enough to go back to school, and just kind of like, just getting myself on a path to be where I really want to be in life. And honestly, anybody in 2020 who, was able to do that, more power to you. But if you weren't able to take those first steps, those leaps of faith, that's also fine. Like, I don't want to be one of those people who pressures other people into doing things that, like, they aren't ready to do. You feel me? Like that LLC Black Twitter joint, like, some people really be shaming people for not doing stuff. Like, not everybody's ready to do the same things that you're doing. Like, it's fine that everyone has their own journey in life. let people figure out what they want to do. The reason for going to grad school to get my master's in public administration is to really just help and serve other people. Like, that's really one of the things that I feel like I'm called to do in life. Like, at some point, we got to remember that firefighters and police officers are real people as well. They have to get paid. Somebody has to make their training manual. Somebody has to really, work behind the scenes. But yeah, so that's really kind of like how I feel about life. But yeah, so started my MPA, whatever. And June, nothing. July, no 4th. There wasn't even no 4th of July celebration. Like, that's crazy. Didn't really hear that many fireworks either. So nothing in July really. August, nothing. September, nothing. October, nothing. November, outside of the election, which is also, I did a little video about that. Link it somewhere, probably in the doobly-doo underneath. So that was also a pretty cool time to be able to really be around. Like, for the first time that I remember, and I've worked elections, basically doing the tallies and like reporting them since 2018 midterms, yeah. So I've been doing it for a few years, but every federal election, I've been a part of the scene. But it was cool for the first time really seeing like people actually care. Like there were news outlets there. There were random citizens just trying to see how everything actually works. It was cool to finally see civic engagement. That's something that's like so dead. It's really dead. But I'm so glad that it's starting to come to life a little bit. And like even in this county, there was a precinct that misfed a few ballots, and they had to basically recount every single ballot from that precinct from early voting and election day. It took them hours to, by hand, refeed the machine as if someone was voting. But they had bipartisan people witnessing. They were just having a regular conversation while doing it and just let the process happen. And that's something that doesn't really get covered a lot. And I'm glad that this year kind of got covered a little bit. So yeah, and then November ended with me going back home for the first time, basically since April, to see my family. That was real nice. Thanksgiving dinner was different, but it was what it was, And then the beginning of December, went back home again, and just stopped by to see family again. But then for Christmas, I wasn't able to because, like a lot of people, traveling in December for coronavirus reasons was like, rather be safe than sorry, For like the second or third year, I think probably third year in a row, no one in my family was sick on the major holiday on Thanksgiving and Christmas, which is something, especially in a year like this, to really be thankful for, and really not to take for granted. But yeah, so, this was my year, 2020. 2021, basically my biggest thing that I really want to do this year is to just do more content, be more open, grow a little bit more, and just kind of do what I want to do. If y'all know any cities or counties or municipalities at all, or like government agencies who would like, a little, part-time side thing intern, let me know. You feel me? Put it in the comments or something, like anything. I just want to get my foot in the door. You feel me? Like, I don't even really want to work 40 hours yet. I can, but like, I kind of already have a job, so I don't really want to. You feel me? Because I care about that kind of stuff. I care. So yeah, that was my year 2020. There's gonna be a lot more content this year, so please like and subscribe. Ring the bell. Everything you got to do to make sure that you stay up. Visit my website, knowledgeable.com. 2 K's at the beginning. Knowledgeable.com. That way you guys can see my blog that I started, really getting back into. You guys can basically see everything that I do is going to be on there. Follow my Instagram, and see you guys on the flip side.